But sums it up, doesn't it? All right, folks, that was COVID taking Bondzee down hard last week, or whatever I had. I don't even know if it was COVID. I didn't really. Well, I did get tested on the Tuesday night at Mr. Lindley's house after finding out I was in close contact with people that tested positive for the old COVID. Took the test right away. Turns out I was negative, but the next day, COVID or whatever else it was that smacked me dead right in the mouth, had other ideas. So I don't know what it was. Who cares? I'm better now. A little stuffy, not a big deal. Ears hurt a bit. Other than that, it's nice to be back and feeling better and having color in my face. Good God. I don't wish that upon anybody. And thankfully I could breathe the whole time. That was the at least the silver lining and everything. Folks, it's Tripping with Bondzee on YouTube and the Dean Blundell Network. How the hell are you? We're live from Sarge's house once again, right where it all began, right here, like literally just behind me in this spot. Yeah, we're in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, where we got the most snow that, God, my parents don't even remember seeing this much snow back to, I think, dating back to when I was a kid. We got absolutely dumped on. Glassy, I think you got a couple pictures there, or at least one. And the pictures, honestly, they don't even do it justice for how much accumulation actually took place. Yeah, it's a pretty good picture. I mean, look how much snow is on the goddamn roof of the cars. Like, it's just insane. Thankfully, the neighbors around here are young. They got a snowblower, and they came and took care of my folks today. And I guess that other goofball that lives upstairs, he was out there snow plowing too. So good on him. I didn't have to do anything. I just worked all day and looked good. And I haven't even been outside. I don't remember the last time I've been outside, to be honest with you. Well, it was COVID 5-day lockdown. So, I couldn't really go anywhere. I barely left my bed Wednesday after Dean's show, Thursday, Friday, and half of Saturday. Never even left the bed. Oh, except once when we had to change it. I had to go shower because my temperature broke, and it was an absolute swimming pool in the bed, and it was disgusting, and it was making me more gross and cold because there's nothing worse when you feel like you got the shivers, but you're absolutely soaking wet. It's the worst. Anyways, so many people have had this COVID now and stuff, so it's not like I'm preaching to the choir, and it's like, wow, okay, enough, Bondzee, you're sick. We get it. Shut the hell up. Yeah, but it really took me down. It really did. Anyways, show's brought to you by Positive Mike's Brewing in Edmonton, Ontario, folks. The beer's absolutely amazing. If you are out in that area, hit Positive Mike up. He'll definitely help you out with some of his fine, delicious beers. But I highly recommend you get the swag. There's the Bondzee Scheme Positive Mike's t-shirt. It's awesome that there's a beer named after me. And listen, it was one of the last alcoholic drinks I had of 2021 was a Bondzee Scheme. And it was such a great beer. It's like the perfect match of sweet and hot. Just like me. Pretty sweet, pretty hot. Just ask the ladies. I don't know what ladies you're going to ask because there's none around, but I digress. Listen, go support them. They're the best. And the show is also brought to you by Shakespeare's Fine Dining. Folks, it's a tough go right now for all the restaurants out there and all these small businesses. So do your best when you can. They've got a curbside stuff going on. Pick up Wednesday to Saturday, 4 till 8. Call 905-528-0689. You can also pick up some Shakespeare's gift cards. But highly recommend you take advantage of the curbside fine dining. Bring the fine dining home to your lovely wife or your girlfriend or both. Maybe you could invite them together and maybe you get a threesome out of it and have some awesome fine dining from Shakespeare's. That's called a winning combination right there. If you can bring the wife and the girlfriend together and have fine dining at home and pull a threesome out of it, you, sir, would be my hero. Sure, it's happened out there, right? I don't know. Sure, has. Probably has. Glassy, what did you just send me? Highlight of the week. What's the highlight of the week? I'm not sure what we're... Why don't you just jump on and tell me, because I'm completely lost with what you're trying to tell me right now.
Highlight the week. What's coming up in the week? We got a big week ahead of us.
Yeah. Well, why don't you? I know her name's Pixie, but I can't remember the name of her podcast. You know it better than I do.
She's up on the next on stage one. She joins us Wednesday. You can search her on Twitter and Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you find podcasts. Friday, we also have... Oh, here's a picture. I got a good picture over there. She is.
Oh, there she is, folks.
That's
Look
Pixie.
At that. She's really
former
nice.
stripper, now male or adult entertainer / adult fitness pole dancing. I believe she does.
Nice. Just a plethora of talent on the girl.
Plethora of talent, yes. And then up
Some
on
lovely
Friday,
boobies too, I might say. Not to be
this is
rude or
you.
anything, but
This is you.
really bad people. Great band out of Missouri. They're actually friends of friends. Buddy of mine in Nicaragua, a great musician in his own right. This is his nephew's band, and apparently they're kicking some ass down in Missouri in the southern part of the United States of America. They were supposed to join us last Friday, but COVID hit them hard like it did me. So we rescheduled for this Friday. Looking forward to those fellas coming on. They're going to play some live music for us as well. Excuse me, coming up on the show very, very shortly, like 5 minutes, not even. I hate to keep people waiting. Though it depends who you ask. Brenton on tour, great guy. Kids on the Escalator podcast. They were just on before us. That's why we were late. I know we got some motor mouse out there like Wade saying, you think after missing 3 shows and be almost dying, he'd be on time. Well, wasn't my fault. We'll blame Brent. His show went late. No, on the network now, we've got to spread it out. We can't do 2 at the same time because apparently I kicked him off last week, and I feel really bad about that. I'll apologize to him in a second when he's on. Okay, we got the sponsors out of the way. We got who's coming up this week. We got who's coming up tonight. Listen, 17 days, folks. Not a sip of booze. I got my tea, and no, it's not even the one where you tape it in. Okay, I'm actually drinking tea. It's been nice. 17 days, sleeping so much better. I'd like to say the gut's going down slowly but surely, but it's kind of not. It's taking a little more time than I would like. But listen, the longer I stay away from booze, the more my little belly's going to shrink down, and it won't be such a booze belly anymore. Anyways, it's coming. Look, it's been great. And listen, I don't know how long it's going to last. We'll see, but baby steps. And 17 days now, almost officially in a couple hours. I don't even have any booze, so it's not like I'm going to go drinking tonight. So we're at like 17 days, and I'm pretty proud of that. It's easily the longest stretch I've had, and God, can't even tell you when. So that's pretty good in its own right. Well, enough of that. What else do we got? Let's just jump right into it. I'll get to my notes because I hate to leave Brent waiting here. He just finished a podcast. Sure, he wants to watch the game because Arizona is going to come back. They are losing 14-0 right now for all my football heads out there. God, it's taking me forever to scroll to this because I'm on a shortened screen. Anyways, we'll find it in a second. Brenton on tour. Without further ado, here he is, folks. How are you, buddy?
Well, I'm a Niners fan, so I'm not watching any of that other shit. My guys won yesterday, so I'm
you
good.
Must have been pretty happy with the result.
I'm fine.
Yesterday.
Yeah, it was fine. They made it interesting, but I'm good, man.
They did make it interesting in typical Dallas fashion. They blew it big time.
Yeah, I'm a Niners guy, so I'm stoked. I mean, I want him to stomp Mr. Rogers next week, and then after that, we're gonna see where it goes. It's gonna get a little ugly after that, but
well,
yeah.
I hate to tell you this, pal, but you don't. Well, I shouldn't say you don't stand a chance because 49ers do have the Packers number a little bit, but my boy Aaron Rodgers is on another tear this year. He should win the MVP. The only reason he might not is because I'll hold it against him for his little COVID antics and stuff that he got up to. But
I would love nothing more for him to go down hard.
Really? Come on. Don't you want to see them go tete-a-tete though? It'd be great. It wouldn't be.
I just want him to lose. I just want him to lose and then be all like grumpy and then whiny little shit and blah blah blah. And then he'll probably come up with some controversy about how he only lost because the league's against him, and he'll just add it to the pile of conspiracy theories that he's already thrown out there for everybody. So yeah, that's there we go.
He's pretty good at that. So listen, how was the show tonight? You do an amazing podcast on this network, the Dean Blundell network called Kids in the Escalator Pod. Tell us a bit about that.
We had a good one tonight. We've been doing basically a breakdown of it's a nerd podcast. I know that Lachlan will come at us hard on this thing. It's a nerd podcast. We cover music and everything. And so tonight we had Jeff from Moist on. They have a brand new record out, and I had Todd Kearns from, obviously Canadians would know him as Age of Electric, but we also he's plays with Slash and has been in Slash's band for 10 years and put out some killer records. So Moist just put out a great album. So we're Chris, my co-host, who and your logoer, is really good friends with Jeff. So we were able to make a connection with Jeff over the last year, and he's come on a few times. So he came on to talk about the new record today, which is really good. Highly recommend it. And then we had Todd on the second part to talk about the new Slash record, and they're going on tour. and all the rest of it. So it was a good one. We generally cover a bunch of nerd stuff, movies, the whole shebang. I believe we're going to bring Lindley in a couple of weeks to do a Sopranos breakdown. He doesn't know yet. He wants to do it on his, but I think we're going to do a big Sopranos breakdown. Okay. So we do a lot of that on the Kids on the Escalator. We kind of talk movies and film, and Chris draws comic books, so we dive into that.
A lot of that. Video games,
all that stuff. We just kind of, all the stuff out. And we just nerd out on all that stuff. And you're going to find, and I think people would find that most people are, maybe they hide it, but deep down they find a way to like, well, there's something that we talk.
There's a little nerd in all of us, right?
There's a little nerd in everybody. And we're, and so that's just kind of what we decided to do. And prior to that, obviously I've been on a network for a while. I have my own show called the Brent Non-Sewer Podcast, which covers, over the course of the time, it's been coffee, music, travel, life, and all that stuff. And I have a series going about making it right now, about everyone's definition. So that's been fun. You did touch on your 17 days in drink free. I just crossed over 3 years, so I'm going to put an episode out. Thanks, buddy. I'm going to put an episode out this week. I believe Diener's going to come on, and we're going to talk a little bit about New Year's resolutions, drinking. This is kind of the time when everyone sort of ends their mission. You're like, this is the time you would traditionally cave here, Bondzee.
Yeah.
It's like 3 weeks in, but yeah. Hey, man.
Yeah. So I'm feeling good. It's actually been a lot easier than I thought it would be. Now listen, being at my parents and stuff, though I was at the Lindleys and Ryan drank every night that I was with him, and I wasn't tempted once. And listen, I could have had a beer or two and I wouldn't have been upset about it. But I've been on this huge tea kick, and I'm just kind of enjoying it. I'm more so drinking for losing the weight too, as as just not drinking alcohol for a little while. I have come to realize. And Dean told me this too when I was at his house a couple weekends ago. He's like, Bondzee, I really don't think you're an alcoholic. I mean, you love booze and you drink too much, but I guess there's different definitions of alcoholic. Absolutely. If you ask me, I certainly have never been one where I ever woke up and was like, fuck, I need a drink right now, or I'm not getting out of bed. I won't be able to function. Now, have I woken up many, many, many times and started drinking right away? Yes. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't out of, I fucking need it, like I'm sitting here shaking like this. It was more out of, fuck, you know what? Why not? I'm bored. Yeah. And you just drink some days. For
when you stop it, people come to you and go, well, why did you stop? You never had a problem, or we didn't think you had a problem, or whatever. And this is a funny bit about when you stop drinking, because people don't say the same thing about Coke or heroin. So I'm like, I don't drink anymore. People go, oh, really? How come? But if I go, I don't do blow and heroin anymore, people go, that's great. That's really, really great. And so there's a line between it that people don't necessarily, it's awkward for people. So I find it awkward. The awkwardness is gone from my life now. I've crossed the hump, but it's a journey for everyone. Everyone's going to be on their own. Everyone has their own definition of it. I wasn't that guy that woke up and drank, but my off switch started becoming a little harder to turn down.
Gotcha.
So it's time to. Well, I wrote about it on the Blundell there on the network a couple of weeks ago about how we're all given 5,000 drink tickets when we're born, and we just got to decide how we use it.
That's right, eh? That's a good one.
20-0 Rams.
Wow, way. Yeah, that's a good old chick kick, and I'm going to hear about that from
good
Rookie,
for you, man.
For
17
sure.
days. 17 days. Good for you, man. Keep
it
going.
is the longest. I can't remember the last time I went 17 days without alcohol, so that's a pretty good run. And listen, I'm not saying it'll last forever, but I am heading down back to Nicaragua, where I've got a lot of influences and stuff. And listen, I hope to go down there and have a few drinks with some friends. I also hope to go down there, and I know that I'm going to go down there and not be an absolute piss tank, and it's going to be different this time. And I'm going down with not that I wasn't there for a purpose before, but having this almost full-time job of reading every day, and busy doing my podcast 3 times a week, Dean's show 2-3 times a week. It's just different. It's a different monster going down there this time. So I'm pretty stoked about it, actually.
Yeah, hey man, one day at a time, right? I started but with 30 days, and then I found I sent you a book a couple months ago.
Yes, the diaries.
The Sober Diaries with Claire. And I found that was a great thing to read along to, because it was a like basically a diary of her days. So I was able to follow it along the days. And next thing you know, you're creeping up to 100, and you're like, well, 100 days seems to be the number that you gotta cross over, because you're gonna go through all those. I don't know what the experts say, but I think 100 days is that where you get the emotions, right? You're gonna go through all these things.
Aren't the first 27 days the hardest, they say, Brent?
I think the first day is the hardest.
Yeah.
Then the second, then the third. But I think if you could probably, from my own experience, if you can cross over 100, you're never going to stop being triggered to want to do it per se. But my thing was more remove association of alcohol and a good time, get over those 100 days, and then see where it goes. So
yeah, for sure. So listen to you mentioned a couple of things. One of your podcasts, Brenton on Tour Pod. You travel a lot, so you put together concerts, correct?
Sure.
That's one of your
jobs? Yeah, I run concerts for a living. That's kind of my full-time gig when the world was normal. I did a run this summer with Megadeth, which was fun. But traditionally I'm at about 6 to 7 months a year running concerts for a larger company.
Yeah, wow, that's
puts on
crazy.
Concerts. Yeah. So
how does one get to be the guy who runs tours, concerts?
Well, I mean, I guess it's like anything. When you set your mind to something. So Chris, my partner in crime on Kids on the Escalator, we played in a band together for years back in Ontario. I'm in Vancouver now, but and so you start out like, let's be in a band and we're gonna make it, right? And we're gonna go and we're gonna do the whole thing. And you dabble around for a couple of years. We played with all these bands like, Protest the Hero and all these kind of bands that went on to great things at Sum 41, but we never got over the hump. And I got to a point where I was like more fascinated with the behind the scenes side of it. So I leave that band, but still kind of quote unquote manage the new band that they formed, or try to, dabbled in it. But in all the while, I started putting on concerts to try to get our bands to open up for these shows. And at the time, you could call an agent and be like, hey, how much for I'm Mother Earth? And I would, do 10 shows with I'm Mother Earth in Ontario, and then just politely ask if our band can open the shows.
Yeah.
So I'm pulling double duty. I'm doing the show, but I'm also opening the show. And it starts with that. Then you meet tour managers that manage those bands, their day to day. And then I got asked to be out and become a tour manager for some of those bands. And then it just then you meet the people that do what I do. And when I moved to Vancouver, it was a perfect time, because it was right when House of Blues, which is what we would have known it at the time in Ontario, Universal Concerts, House of Blues had merged with Live Nation and some of these other like with that company, and they had gone to a massive amount of shows nationwide and needed people to run them. It just turns out the tour managers generally make the best promoter reps, like the guys that do what I do, because you work with math and numbers. And it sort of started like that, and then parlayed into club shows, theater shows, arena shows, and then it just keeps going from there.
So essentially you taught yourself how to be this extraordinary tour manager. I mean, you met these people along the way later, like you said, when you got to Vancouver, but a lot of this was just you learning the ropes of it, right?
You have your highs and lows like any other journey that someone goes on. So in Port Perry, for instance, where I'm from, really Oshawa, Port Perry area, I used to do shows there, and I would have these small wins at I'm Mother Earth, and I would do, the Tea Party, and I would do Headstones at a little small club, and we would do all these shows, and they're all like these wins, and you're on a momentum and you're on a run. And then I did the show that almost crippled me. I did a country show outside. Still had 25 people show up. Well, it was like a Michelle Wright show. It was like 2,500 people came, which was great, but I needed 3,000. And those other 500 were at the Havelock Jamboree.
Damn. Yeah.
And that was where I was at a point, and literally I was at a point where the tour manager had come to me and said, we're not going on stage. Wow. And it was, I had the agent and I had all these people, and I was almost in essence blacklisted right at that moment, where like, you can do the show, she's going to play the show for her fans, but you're not going to do another show until we figure this out. So that was like hit 10 home runs in a row, but get thrown out at second. Right. So, and that's what happened. And it puts you back. And I went back on tour, and you just have to grind your way out. And
hindsight, who tries to put together a concert on the same weekend as Havelock? in the same way. That's one of the biggest
Well, the
country
upsell,
festivals in
the
Canada,
thing
right?
is about that happens a lot though. You'd be amazed. Like, so what bands will play off of something, right? So if Havelock is doing a country show, they might do a club show in Kingston, or
Gotcha.
they might do a club show in Toronto because they're already in Havelock. So Havelock was far enough away from Port Perry that we thought we could still carve out, or I thought I could still carve out 3,000 people that didn't want to leave the town and come see the show. I
Yeah.
got 2,500, but $500,
Wow.
500 people at, $50 a ticket's a lot of money.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know,
How
and
many tours do you think you've done over the years, Brent? Like, how long you been at
well, I've
this?
been across the country like 50 times in a
Wow.
van, and then about another, 30 other times in a tour bus. It's quite a lot. I mean, there's hundreds of shows would be the number, I would say. There's a lot because you spend like anything, liken it to like a hockey thing. You come through the juniors and then you hit, you get to the
Yeah.
majors, and then, but even when you get to there, there's still more to do. So I did hundreds of club shows, and then hundreds of theater shows, and then hundreds of arenas, and then it just kind of keeps going, you know.
Aside from the size of
Because
the venue.
every tour Bondzee has like this tour I'm going to go on, there's 40 shows, and then there's another 40, and then there's another 40. So I can do, 150 shows a year,
Yeah. And did you get to do a lot of Europe as well?
Yeah, I spend
With
predominantly I spend my time in Europe, actually.
Really? Wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
So all these years on the road and stuff, be it Canada, the US, I know you just did Megadeth. I was supposed to meet you, but that's when I was down
I
and
know.
out
In
with my
LA.
shot. But in
I know.
LA, that's right. It was too bad actually, because it looked like a
Yeah.
good time. I mean, it's definitely not my favorite music in the world, but all the videos and the pictures you posted looked like it was a good time.
Anything live's a good time, regardless of it.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think regardless of it, it's a good time. So
Is there anything that sticks out of all those years on the road? Do we have like maybe the best moment you can remember, or and on the flip side of that, the worst? Like, have you been scared somewhere over in Europe where shit has just gone completely awry and you're like, oh fuck, what do we do?
Well, okay. So a couple things. Highlights for me, for sure. I touched on a bit on this making series in the, about people's version of making it, but I for sure had Wembley on my radar. Wembley was my moment of, I need to do that venue, and I was able to hit that venue, and I was very excited about that. Madison Square Garden, sort of like little goals like that, which is big goals. Obviously, it's a big stadium. So that was great. I think the major highlight of the kind of culmination of my journey at that point was Pearl Jam in Toronto in around 2011. And that was
Nice.
the PJ20 tour. And that was kind of like, I'm in Toronto. I was living in Vancouver still. I'm out here now, but I was living in Vancouver, but I was back home in Toronto. Arena full of people. Neil Young's there, Woody Harrelson, everyone's hanging out, just kind of chilling. I'm looking around, the arena's full. I'm in my hometown, and I'm taking Pearl Jam across the country. So it was really, really exciting for me to be a part of that. That was kind of like my moment where I touched on where I felt like I made it, but then realized I just made it to the top of one level and the bottom of the next. So that was
Right.
kind of like started that journey. Scary moments. Okay. So I was tour managing a band that was supposed to be in New York on September 11th. So we didn't get across the border on the 10th or the 11th. This is an interesting one. I don't want to give too much away on this thing. Maybe we can find a way to hide this, but we had to go get all of our stuff redone, just because going across the border. So we were all in the process of getting our stuff done. And then I got my new birth certificate, and I don't know if you can see that. I don't know. But anyways, the reissue date is September 11, 2001.
Oh, wow.
So that was like, geez, and just the mess that was going on. So we missed that. The manager of the band was down there, so that was freaky. And then I was in the attack that just happened in Nice, France. I was running on that promenade 3 hours before that. I was on a plane.
Wow.
Then I left and I landed in Germany, and I get all this message on my phone. Like, people are like, are you okay? What's going on? I'm like, what's going on? And I check it. And I originally thought it was an accident. Somebody had something had happened at the stadium or something, but it was actually tragically somebody had driven a truck down the down the,
Right.
the road. And I just missed that. And I just missed that by hours. And so that was a little weird. There's been a few of those moments. I've got a handful of those terroristy kind of things that
Yeah.
I've missed by some moments. So yeah, I mean, it's a bit nerve wracking at times for sure.
So you go across the country in all these vans for so many times. You said like countless times, and I mean, the what do you call it? Like the whole experience of that wears off pretty quick in a van. But you do finally upgrade to some pretty nice buses after that. Any bands in particular that stand out that had the greatest buses and were fun to be on with the
Buses
guys?
are almost all the same. And the funny thing is, and you had a bus, and that they're we as an indie musician or something, if you're a band, if you're playing in a band and you're a young guy, and you'll talk to some of your indie bands about this, you just can't wait to get on the bus, right?
Yeah.
And then you get on the bus and you can't wait to get off the bus.
It's funny how it works,
Right?
eh?
And then you get onto a plane, you just want to get onto the next town or get onto a plane. It's just funny
Yeah.
how it kind of goes. The bus thing is interesting because you're on a crew bus, and there's always the debauchery stuff happens, I think, way back in like out of the 90s into the early 2000s or something, when bands were still, everything wasn't being recorded. I think now that everything is kind of like out there for people, I think everyone's a little bit more careful about those things.
Yeah.
And I don't see it anymore ever. Like, it's the quietest touring now ever. If people were ever to come and watch a show, they go, isn't somebody supposed to be swinging off the roof, and there's hookers and
all the
blow, and it's nuts,
girls?
and then,
Yeah,
like,
come on.
it's literally like, do you want an extra? Do you want tuna, or do you want? I mean, is there's tuna in the? Is there celery in
Wow.
the tuna? Like, it's really changed, especially since COVID. Now, especially, there's nobody backstage now. So
Right. It must be such a different vibe and stuff. Does it kill the whole vibe, or how do bands still get pumped up these days for doing these shows?
well. It's an interesting one because the vibe is what you make of it. And, a lot of people think touring and it's like, oh, the bands, but touring is a giant pain in the ass. It's crucial to a band's tour, to a band's makeup, especially now that artists aren't selling records. So
Yeah.
they have to make all their money from touring, but it's a giant pain in the ass. It's
Tiring,
a
eh?
big production, and especially on the labor side and crew side. Some of these bands, like when you play like an A-level tour. So I did like Rihanna or Shakira or Rod Stewart.
Who was at
That
Wembley, by the way? I gotta ask that because you
Wembley
brought up
was
Wembley.
Rihanna.
Nice. Good for you.
But when you do like a tour and you got that many people moving and all those moving parts at all the time, play at an A level, it's kind of side like that. Playing 3 in a row is tough, right? Because it's a stadium, it's big. It's the B and the C stuff where you gotta, artists have to play 4 in a row or 3 in a row. Those are brutal. And you gotta, you're working until 3 in the morning, and then you're back up at 7. And then,
Wow.
and you do that 3 days in a row. That's why the drinking had to go, because it's like you can't do it,
Yeah.
and so it's tiring, and it's a big, as much as you see bands doing it and loving it and going through the motion. I live it's that 2 hours they're on stage, but I'd wager.
But is it tough
Um,
on the actual band, or is it more so tough on you and the rest of the crew?
it's tough on
Like
everybody. It's
I
tough
see
on
the
everybody.
band just kind of, okay, we got to be at sound check. Okay, sound check's over. They can go do whatever the hell they want, and then they just got to be on stage, do the show, and then they don't have to pack up or anything. It's just on to the next
Sure, but
place.
it's still a bit of a thing, because if you want, like, if you got a band at the sound checks, for instance, like, I was out with Lauryn Hill, and she would sound check almost the whole show and then go play the show.
Wow.
So you're doing like a 2.5 hour sound check, and then, and like, doing that every night. And then, like, so it just depends on the makeup of the organization and what they want to do. Right.
And
And
as
how
the
they
main guy,
want
are
to do
you
it.
just being bombarded like day and night,
Well,
and then until the show's actually over?
I work with the main guy. So my job is to coordinate all the departments together at first, and then to, make, and then the production manager is taking care of production. The tour manager is taking care of the band. They all have individual needs. That is my job to make sure get solved and
We're all
get
met,
done.
yeah.
So, the crew is going to have tons of like issues, whatever. We got to go here. We got to go here. It's my job to recognize that everyone's on 3 hours sleep, and we, how can we get it to a good space, right? And adding more crew labor, just boring stuff like that. But it's my job to recognize where maybe those things are slipping or going up and down and having those conversations. But it's the bands are having fun on stage, but it's a grind for them too. I think most bands are excited to tour, but also I also know bands that go, oh, we got to go on tour again.
Are you able to name cough up any names of bands that you're sorry you ever dealt with and never will again, or is that something you'll keep to yourself? I gotta ask.
Everything has been an experience that's added to the next thing. So some bands are full of attitude, but I don't really deal with the bands. It's not like I'm friends with bands out of these. Some of them, you become friends with that are good guys.
Sure.
I think it's positive.
Yeah, there you go. Positive.
Rihanna never has to tour again. Rihanna just sold her makeup line and has more money than anybody on the world.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I speaking of Rihanna, so I was out with Chris Brown and then I went to Rihanna right off of Chris Brown. So that was just, that dynamic was interesting to kind of go from that into that, especially with the history that the two of them had. So that was just an experience that was like, wow, you're grinding it out, on this tour, which is a hip hop tour. And they're a bit more high maintenance because there's always something going on backstage to this other thing, which is like a massive production, and all that stuff is left behind because it's such big business. So, man, I know. Did he beat me? Tamara, he did not beat me. He almost did though. Actually. He almost.
You upset Chris Brown?
Well, I didn't. His people did. Because they were giving him. I mean, this before COVID. Imagine somebody getting wrong information. Anyway, wow. So he we did a show in France or something, and I think what had happened was people were tweeting that they couldn't buy tickets or something, and there was still lots of opens in the building, and he had called. He thought, this is how it was. He thought I was his tour manager or something, and so I get this call on the radio. Hey, Brent, get to the office right now. And I come up and he just gets right up in my face, and he's just like, my people are telling me that they can't buy tickets and and blah 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 and what's the problem? I'm like, no, there's lots of tickets. And then his buddies were winding him up, going, well, this is sold out. And I'm like, well, actually, it's not sold out. There's lots of tickets. So when you look at the investigation, you look at one person tweeted, but right. he was like, I'm gonna punch you in the fucking face. And I was like,
aggressive little fucker, isn't he?
Okay, how are we gonna do this? And then the next day, we're in Amsterdam and backstage, and he walks up to me and he's like, hey man, that was a great show tonight, wasn't it? Like, he completely had no clue who I was. So it's just the funniest thing. So I mean, there's experiences like that. I would say 95% of my artist experience has been great.
That's cool.
If it's not, like, I really don't have that like terrible artist story, because it just, most people, it's business, man. And most people at this point, at least where we are in the world, there's just not a lot of fuckery anymore.
Yeah. So we're on the hip hop train here, Chris Brown and Rihanna and stuff. What's your take on the Super Time or for the halftime Super Bowl show?
What did they announce? I haven't actually paid attention. Sorry.
So it's Eminem. We got Rihanna.
Do we know who it is?
Yeah.
You got the lineup for me? He's the one that brought this up, and I thought, it's a good question, but I didn't have the lineup in front of me. Snoop Dogg, right?
Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige, Eminem, Dr. Dre, Kendrick Lamar,
and I think that's it. Right?
Somebody else. I can't remember who it is off the top of
my
head.
It's going to be, big.
What goes into something like that? What goes into something like that from your experience?
If you remove
egos, all those superstars together, that's a lot of egos.
Yeah, if you remove egos from the equation, I mean, you can only do so much within a certain time period. You got 15, 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So something like that. Yeah. So there's a lot of people there's so many people involved. Like, I mean, you guys look at that halftime show and there's fireworks and there's this and that. Sure, that's over here. But getting the artist and designing something out, it's a bit of a thing. They would have been working on it for a long time, and they would have come up, you don't put something together like that without a plan of like, all right, who gets this much time, who's getting what this guy get video and this person doesn't? Is Mary J. Blige going to be solo? Or is she going to be singing with Jay-Z? They got to work all those logistics out and come up with a plan for those 5 artists first and go, who's doing what? And then you get your, you got your production team that are going to be like, well, we want it to look like this, and this guy wants it to look like this, and this person wants it to look like this. So
yeah,
I can't speak to what they've decided to do, but my guess is that there was a Zoom. Someone said
Zoom,
we want the 5 of you to be on the Super Bowl, and someone's going to go, how the hell are we going to do that? And then very smart production people are going to come in and say, well, we're going to do this. And then all the powers that, they would hire a production manager.
Ask them how they want it done. You're telling them how it's going to go. Yeah.
Sort of like Eminem's going to have a plan and everyone else is, isn't it lip syncing? Not necessarily, Mike. Sometimes they bring it, man.
Yeah.
And what's your take? Like, is that happen a lot with tours you do? Like, how big is lip syncing out there coming from a guy who's been in the business for a long time? Can we divulge that information?
Well, I mean, so there's a thing that happens in all sorts of it, right? So you've got artists that will just play live and go for it and play. You've got some artists, that are a little bit progressive. Some metal bands that are a bit more progressive and can't necessarily go from the jam room onto stage. They have to have a certain amount of structure. They'll have some tracking in there that they'll be listening to clicks and stuff, and you'll see it a little bit more regimented and stuff like that. It's rare. Like the bigger, I can't comment on like what artists that do it or don't. I can just say that like some artists will track their stuff to cover off any problems. So if a guitar player goes down, it doesn't matter. It's tracked and they can just kind of bring it in.
Right.
So it's pretty, there are bands that are dedicated to that sort of like, and that side of it, but it's I mean, lip syncing is sometimes done because the artist can't sing. And then sometimes it's a production thing. And then sometimes it's a protect the show thing. There's a couple of different elements from what I've witnessed. Most of the artists I've been with have been all live. It's been pretty good.
Cool. Question from Kel there. What's the oddest request an artist has asked for in the dressing room? Do you take care of the riders and stuff like that?
I mean, there's elements of that when I was on club and theater stuff. I mean, you get a lot of different things. Probably handy. I haven't had that. Mind you, if you Google Glenn Danzig, you'll find some stuff that was pretty interesting back in the day.
Old Danzig.
I do know that I do like when I was part of a stadium show for. I was part of a stadium show, and I'll just say it was a stadium show for a bit of a diva, and not Rihanna. So I'm just gonna say that it wasn't that, but it was and there was a request because we were doing these football stadiums that the bathrooms be completely replaced. Because bottom line, she didn't want to shit where the football players shat. So literally, like you're like, what? And then at first, when you come into it, you don't understand. But there's two.
Was it Lady Gaga or Beyonce?
No, it was not. But the issue is more. The issue was more. People have to remember a little bit here that when an artist goes out like this, it's their home away from home. You got to be, and I do it myself. I'm not an artist, but I have to be as comfortable as I can out here. I'm away from my family for 3 months at a time. So how comfortable can I make my excursion? And artists are the same way. They're away. So how do you make their dressing room feel like a condo, right? If they're at that level, how do you, and if the artist doesn't want to shit where the football player shit, you build a bathroom. That's just how it goes, because it costs $5,000 to build a bathroom, and the show's grossing $5 million. So just build the bathroom.
There you go. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fair enough. What's up next for Brent on tour? Where are we going? Who are we going with?
Okay, so I'm heading out. I head out Saturday, go to Vegas for rehearsals. I'm actually going out with a band called Imagine Dragons, so that's gonna be all right. And then I'm gonna go. I'm gonna start, and then I kick it off in Florida. And then I'm touring North America until about halfway through March.
Nice.
And then we'll be home. And then I think there's a Canadian run in April, and then Europe and all the rest of them. So that's kind of what's going on that side of it.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's busy coming up for sure.
And how you feeling? I know you had COVID quite a while back, and it really affected your lungs, and you've been on puffers and stuff. Are we feeling good, or are we still on the puffers?
I finally got the bill of health, which was fine. I had to go. I was feeling pretty. Mike, I'll be in Edmonton. It's I was feeling kind of off, truthfully. I just wasn't feeling good, and but I've got a bill of health. I'm feeling good now, and
That's awesome.
onwards and upwards. And I'm just
For sure.
one of a million.
Yeah. Well, I was looking forward to coming out to BC, man. I know you knew I was coming out and I was doing that wedding and then was going to go do some skiing or I wasn't going to go snowboarding, but with Mercedes up in
Yeah,
Whistler. And
yeah.
then I was stoked to, come and see you if it was going to work out and a bunch of other friends. But as we know, and Bondzee's not doing the wedding now. It's not they're still together, folks. They're still together, but just postponed due to COVID and stuff, which isn't the wrong idea. I mean, it's been pretty bad across Canada. So
Mhm.
yeah, but it's too bad. I was looking forward to seeing everybody, including you. But
Who knows?
it'll
I
happen.
think I'm going to South America somewhere, and then maybe we'll see each other there. I don't know. In LA,
Hey,
we
who
missed each
knows,
other. We missed each other here. We missed. So whatever.
right?
We
Hey,
end up connecting
it
down the
took
road.
me and you to get together forever to come on this show, and we finally made it work. So,
Yeah, yeah.
hey, who knows? Maybe I'll see you in Costa Rica or Brazil or somewhere down there.
Coincidentally, that's where I got the sickest I've ever been in my life was Brazil. So
Is that
just
right?
saying.
I've never
Crazy.
been, but I just met it's a new friend. One of my childhood friends growing up had this. He was a student back when he was 17, and he was here on a foreign exchange, and now he's in his 30s. He's a huge lawyer down in Brazil, and he's touted to be one of the next mayors in
Mm.
his town and county stuff. So he's a bit of a big deal. I just got to meet him not too long ago, and we became friends. And he's like, "Come down to Brazil, come down to Brazil." So
Make
who
sure he
knows?
doesn't. Make sure he tells you about the kids that. It's a funny story. I was really, really sick, like could barely move, but I needed to get some Gatorade or something into me. So I go from maybe it's a block or something, and I go out and I walk as slow as possible. I can't even. I go to the store. I buy Gatorade. These little kids come up to me. Make sure you don't do this. The little kids come up to me and ask me for money. And I was like, no, because whatever. The guy was like, don't give the kids money. I was like, okay. And then I leave. Some guy in the store had given the kids money and he was following me. He's probably 30 feet behind me. And all the kids jumped him
What?
because he gave them money. So they thought he had
He's got
money.
more.
And they're part of this, they're street kids. They're gang, like they have got nowhere to live. So they come in
Little
and ask for
bastards.
money. And so the guy in the hotel was like, do not, like, they'll leave you alone, but do not give them money. So I didn't give him money. The guy behind me did, and they just beat the shit out of him. And I'm like, they would have
Damn.
murdered me. I couldn't even move. I was so sick with food poisoning. I couldn't even move. And it was the only show I've ever missed in my life was that show.
Wow.
And it was 80,000 people. And I missed it.
Damn. There's all these false lies going around on these comments here. Every house Bondzee was in contracted the COVID. It wasn't because of me. Not true. I'm not the one who went to a secret underground party where every motherfucker got COVID.
Yeah,
I didn't go. I was the responsible one and stayed home.
it's
And listen,
interesting that it's interesting to see you guys all get COVID the other day on the Dean show.
yeah, it was wild. Like none of us had it this whole entire time, and then whammo, like three of us go down, and was it three of us? Yeah, just like that.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
pretty wild. Listen, I'd be remiss before I let you go, but I touched on it, but then we got sidetracked, which happens a lot on Bondzee Life. Your love of coffee is next to none, Mister. When did this start? Have you been a coffee drinker
No,
your whole life? You're
this is
not
a
really a
funny one.
coffee snob, though, are you?
Well, I've eased up. But actually, it was funny. I was never a coffee drinker ever.
Wow.
And then I didn't start drinking coffee until 2018. I was
Is that
actually
right?
the guy that didn't like it at all. And then I was doing a show. I was in Europe. Actually, I was in Italy, and we had done 3 shows in a row, and I was dying. I just couldn't function. And we had in Italy, they have a guy that makes espressos backstage. So he
Okay.
had actually brought me an espresso, and it was fantastic. And then the person that was out with me, one of the security people on the tour that I was on, was a former Secret Service agent, like our buddy John, John Guarnari from Silver Spear, and he had all these secret coffee joints around the world. So wherever we were touring, he would take me to all this secret coffee, and it just got me completely hooked. Which, ironically, I was putting on my Instagram these coffee stories, and then Dave Randall from the Blondell Network reached out to me and was like, you got to talk about coffee and traveling around the world to find coffee. And then he introduced me to Dean, and here we are. So then I
Wow.
started trying to find all the best coffee in the world, and it kind of turned into a thing. And then I became kind of close with Tim Wendelbo, who's like one of the top roasters, and he kept having me into his store and showing me all this stuff and teaching me about coffee. So then I just dove all the way in to learn as much of it as I can, and it's turned into a thing. So
what's your favorite coffee bean? Where are we at? Who is it from? Honduras? Is it
well, no,
Colombian? Is it
I'm a Indonesia guy. I really like
okay?
Indonesia, but I also, but Tim Wendelbo, who is it's my favorite coffee in the world. It's in Oslo, Norway. He has a farm in South America. Does it all himself. Goes to South America, does everything, and brings it back, roasts it himself, and it's fantastic. And you can order it; and they'll ship it all over the world. That's my favorite. But if I got Mexico, Indonesia, Ethiopia in front of me, I'm going Indonesia first, and then probably Ethiopia, and then from there. But yeah, it's fun. It's been a fun journey.
It's wild. Do you drink it straight up black, or do you?
Yeah, the only way to go.
Yeah.
The only way to go.
Good man. Yeah, it's the only way I drink it too now.
That way. Now, I will do like, when you tour and you meet bands. So that's one of the things that has connected me with band guys like Ray from Korn or Brent Fitz, who plays with Slash. Massive coffee heads. So we share coffee, info as we're touring. Have you tried this place? Have you tried this? And Fitz is more like a cortado guy. He's more, loves like the cortado. So he's like, you got to try cortado. So I would go down that road, but I generally don't do milk and sugar, because if you get the right coffee, you don't have to.
You don't need that shit.
It's like you busting Locke's balls about Tim Hortons and all that stuff. No one wants to get out of their car and walk in and wait 5 minutes for them to make it. So that's the problem with coffee. So
yeah, it's awesome. And you're not afraid to drink the gas station coffee and
well, you got to do it.
You
got to search
rating
for it
and
all.
Stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of it. Sometimes you're on a tour.
Who's got the best coffee? Is it the Flying J's down there? Is it what's the big one with the big bear on it? It's not in every state. What are those?
I'm not sure. I did one a couple months ago. Yeah, I did one a couple months ago at one place, and it wasn't half bad. But yeah, I mean, I don't generally do it unless I'm kind of reviewing it. Like I don't need it so bad that it's 2:30 in the afternoon and all that's there is coffee that's been sitting in a strainer or a thing for 10 days. Kicking Horse Coffee from Tripping with Bondzee. Kicking Horse got sold to Nestle, so fuck them. So,
that's
espresso, Positive Mike espresso and tonic water in the summer. That's a sparkling water Americano. It's fantastic. So
wow, never heard of that, but sounds decent.
Yeah, you get like a red Solo cup, and you fill it about 3/4 with ice, and you fill it about halfway with water, and then put a double shot espresso in it. Change your life.
Delicious. I like it. Listen, man, it's been a blast having you on the show. We finally got to do this. Thanks for joining me on Tripping with Bondzee on the Dean Blundell Network and my YouTube channel. It was a blast having you, man. We finally got to do it.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Tune in Monday nights for Kids on the Escalator, and Wednesdays, Brent on Tour, wherever you get your pods.
8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, correct?
Ish. Around there. Yeah, right around there.
We're all on the ish train around here.
Yeah, depends on where I am. It doesn't always necessarily work like that. So like when I leave Saturday and I'm going to be all over the place, our schedule might be all wacky, but we'll see.
Awesome. Well, good luck on tour. Have fun. Be safe out there, mister, and stay away from that shitty COVID.
I'll do my best. I think I got a thing going right now, so we're going to see.
Uh-oh. Well, you didn't get it from me because I'm fucking
I got the new one called the Decepticon.
So there you go.
That's a good one.
People can follow you at Brenton on Tour and on Twitter and Instagram, correct?
Twitter, Instagram, all the places you get your things, and follow me on Spotify and Apple Music, and
there you go. There's some kids in it's all there, folks.
It's all there.
It's a good time. And listen, take care. It's a pleasure having you.
Thanks for having me, buddy. All the best.
Bet. All right, see you, pal. That's Brenton on Tour. You can follow him. He's a good guy. Loves coffee. And man, what a life, just touring around with bands. And I'm sure it's not all rainbows and unicorns, and it's a job. But listen, I could think of shittier jobs to do. He's got to travel the world and deal with some pretty badass bands. Rihanna, not a big deal, at Wembley Stadium. Kidding me? It's awesome. All right, let's get back on track here. Where was I? Let's talk. I got to get back to my notes. Bear with me. 21-0 still. It's the scoring barrage has slowed down for LA. It'd be nice if Arizona could get on the scoreboard here and kind of get into this game. We got 2 full quarters to go, folks. This game is far from over. Okay. So let's go Arizona, and we definitely need that to happen. All right. Oh, excuse me. Let's get back here. Where am I? Yeah, it's been a thrill. My mom's loved having me home. It's been great. It sucks that we were both kind of really sick the past 4 or 5 days, but listen, it is what it is. And you know what? I'll bring this up. It's funny because I'm back at Sarge's house doing a show in the basement, where I was 2 years ago, when all this started, when I'd come home from Nicaragua. Anyways, there's old Sarge and Pops. It's funny because I got this message on the YouTube comment section after last Monday's show when I said I was at Sarge's. And I'll preface the story by saying these two assets used to be friends of mine. In fact, one of them used to produce this show way, way, way back. I wouldn't say right at the beginning, but pretty close to the beginning. Anyways, the negativity that came out of that guy's mouth day in and day out and day in, it was just like, fuck, dude. Anyways, the relationship came to an end. I just couldn't put up with the negativity. And he got right upset with me about it and stuff. And I made fun of him because he played with dolls, which is true. I'm not telling any lies out of school. But anyways, it was hilarious to get a message from these two jokers, him and his girlfriend, who's married. And he's, one of them adulterous little whores. Anyways, they can't be together because this clown's in Buffalo. She's in Ontario somewhere. Anyways, they both have this thing going on still, which I can't figure out how she hasn't been caught. It's been 2 years. Anyways, they're both so mad at me. They came at me on the comment section. They're like, oh, see, that didn't take long for Bondzee to be back living in his mom's basement. I just fucking laughed. I'm like, just did 10 months on the road, 8 states, 3 provinces, and had the greatest time and made some new friends, amazing memories. Home to visit me mom, get some medical stuff taken care of, and then I'm out of here again. But all they see is, oh, he's back in his parents' basement. What a fucking loser. I just had to laugh, and I was like, you two still at it, eh? I felt so sorry for them, to be honest with you. And then they're like, oh, at least we have a place to live, was their comeback. And I'm like, so do I. You should see the place we got rented in Mexico and Nicaragua when I'm off to those awesome destinations in the next couple weeks. Anyways, I digress. It's just funny how some people will never, ever, ever change. They live off misery and other people's joy. And they're so jealous. It's awesome. Just makes my heart all warm and stuff. You know what I mean? Because I can always go buy a house again. They'll always be losers. All right. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get to see as many people as I wanted to while I'm home here in Ontario. Hopefully still get up to Kingston to see Hopper. I lugged all these beers back for him. So hopefully I'll be able to get up there and visit him now that I'm feeling better. That's fully up to Hopper. We'll be making a quick stop in Midland, Penetanguinarilia next week, a little stop in Gravenhurst, and then hopefully I have enough time to fly up to Killaloe to spend a few days with James. We got to go on a little mushroom trip. He's going to save me. He is. Self-proclaimed from Jamesy himself. I was going to have James on the show tonight, but things didn't work out that way, and I was lucky enough to finally get Brent on the show. So anyways, we'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks. I still got to go see the old family doctor, even though a few things are now taken care of, which I'm super happy about, and I can't wait to get the hell out of here. Got me a nice place rented, and I just solidified that in Nicaragua today. Stoked to go see my buddy in Mexico, Robin Benson. And it's funny, he rented a house in Tulum, just there in the Tulum area, if you will, and sick place with a rooftop pool. And I was like, wow, that's pretty fancy, mister. Turns out the place I rented in Nicaragua today, rooftop pool. So I'm pretty excited for the rest of this winter. We're here 2 more weeks, and then bye. You take care. We'll be doing 3 live shows a week still. Nothing's going to change. In fact, we're going to do shows from all over the place in Nicaragua. We're going to go do some touring around, riding some motorbikes, and it's going to be a great time. Can't wait. If you guys want to come down and visit me in Nicaragua too, hit me up. It's so cheap. It's so much fun, and there's lots of room. So hit me up. Yeah. Anyways, what else we got? Let's talk some football real quick. We are watching this game right now. Arizona's still getting their asses handed to them. But speaking of asses handed to them, how did the Buffalo Bills do against New England Patriots? Bill Belichick, not so great anymore, is he? No, he's still a great coach. One of the best of all time, as a matter of fact. But the Buffalo Bills had their number, and it was so awesome to see. Are the Buffalo Bills going to beat Kansas City next week? I'm not going to say no because it's the
No.
playoffs. It's the
No.
playoffs, dude. You never know what happens. Did you think that the New York Giants were ever going to beat Tom Brady back in the day and stuff? And then they had that miracle catch where Buddy catches on his head and they win. That's why they play the games, brother. So I will give them a fighting chance, especially after riding the success that they had yesterday against New England and Bill Belichick.
Kansas City or the Bengals and the Titans are going to be a good matchup, but as for KC and the Buffalo, I don't know, man. I gotta lean on the back-to-back Super Bowl goers. Like, sorry, until
that
like
train's got
somebody
to come to an end sooner or later.
like what's his name said on the podcast earlier today on Dean's show. Until
Right.
you beat them, yeah. All bets are off, but I'm glad that Brady and the Packers aren't going head to head this week. I'm glad because I know he's going to wipe out San Francisco. Sorry, Brent. Is that what he said? He's a Niners fan.
Yeah,
but
I agree. Go Pack.
If it's LA versus the Bucks, man, like I don't know, like that's a toss up in itself now. But
still Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, and their team's hardly changed from last year. They still look good. Gronk's amazing. So you can never ever count Tom out for sure. It's gonna be a great game though. I think LA has definitely come here to play tonight. And like I said, it's not over. Anything can happen, but it certainly is leaning that way. But I mean, listen, it's gonna be regardless of who wins this game. The rest of the games are going to be fantastic leading right up to the Super Bowl. I don't really think there's a shitty matchup.
What a great weekend it was.
Yeah, I mean, I think the games were good, bro, but they weren't great. I mean, there was a couple times where it was like, you knew it was over long before it was over. You know what I mean?
This is you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's me. I took the Bengals. I was a big win by the Bengals and a ballsy call. 30 years without a playoff win. So congrats to Bengals fans out there. I know it's been a tough go. Bills, that was awesome to see. It was like they could do nothing wrong, nothing. Tampa Bay, they played a great game. Tom, as always, 44 years old, still looks amazing. Dallas
yards.
Cowboys. Dallas.
Oh my God. Yesterday. What the fuck was that? I mean, this is all you saw yesterday.
Right? It was everywhere. Look at boo fucking who.
I mean, what was that on the line, right? With 7 seconds to go, and they could have
14 seconds.
Yeah, and they wasted so much time. The refs got off the field, right? And this is poor Karen.
Wow, my shitty Cowboys lost again. Wow. Do we have the video of them lined up to get into the stadium, bro? Like
I can, yeah. Just give me 1 second.
This is maddening to me because, play it and then I'll talk about it.
Sure.
What in the holy hell are we running for? Like, is Godzilla outside? Did they announce that the game starts in 3 minutes and you have to race to your seat as fast as possible? Like, look at this shit.
No idea what they're doing.
What is this all about? That's how stupid they are in Dallas. I don't know. I can't figure it out. I have friends in Dallas and they don't seem this stupid, but why is everybody running in and rushing into their seat? Yeah, only to watch them lose.
See, there you go. It's
a little more controlled there. I just don't get the whole stampede or running in. It was like 2 hours before game time, bro.
Yeah. I can't believe how much money they spent on that team and that stadium to have them suck. So
it's the Jerry Jones curse, my brother.
Fuck me. Like,
we got another video. How about
we have a lot of videos from the Cowboys game.
All right, let's roll. They're all fun.
That is the gift that keeps on giving, literally.
Yeah, it is.
This is how you walk your team off of the field.
Like, right? Isn't that nice? Let's just start rifling stuff at our players. That was a nice block with Buddy's helmet there. Block. Really impressive, by the way.
Yep. What else we got? I got one more here. 2 more, I think. Oh, yeah.
The debauchery continues.
This is one of my... I know it's been played to death, but it's still one of the best videos going on the internet.
This guy is right upset. Look at how tough he is.
Oh, I love the gun.
That TV didn't stand a chance. Look at him.
I love their playing. This is how we do it. Wow. That was amazing.
Lahoo, sir.
And I came across this one this afternoon. This has probably got to be one of my favorites, besides the gun right now. And this is who they're playing next week. Cowboys.
It's awesome. I love it. Do we have one more with them fighting in the stands afterwards when they're all upset at each other and shit-faced and just fight each other now?
I didn't pull a fighting one. I don't.
No, that's all right.
Unless you sent it to me. No,
I don't think I did. I think I just sent you the
nope.
The buddy got the beer tossed at it. It was a nice save with the helmet. I thought originally he'd caught it, but he just deflected it off. It was pretty good.
That was good. Oh, I can't believe that. Anybody who put money on their Packers, and I'm sorry, Matt Soper, if you're watching, your Cowboys suck. I said it publicly, and I'll say it again over and over.
I will too. The Cowboys suck, but it is what it is. Go Packers. That's all I'll say. And the Bills.
Yep,
definitely. I want to see Packers, Bills, Super Bowl. That would just be the shit.
Yeah, in a
it
couple
really
weeks, I can't put it past Brady, man. I mean, it's going to be awesome when they go up head-to-head next week, him and Rodgers. I think that's going to be fantastic. The lineup so far, I mean, the Bengals next Saturday, I believe it is going to be amazing. And KC and the Bills, like I said, until KC wins or until Buffalo beats KC, got to go with KC. I'm sorry about that. Patrick Mahomes can pull some wild stuff out of his rear end. But in a couple weeks, you see those two big squares there. So what we do... Let's walk everybody through this. Let's tee it up. So in a couple weeks, I get a GoPro from Long McQuaid. We take 2 cans of beans, we put them in a microwave, we label them up individually, we put them in the microwave, and the first one to blow with the microwave on loses the Super Bowl. Record right now is 4-2. It's just going into our 7th year. And it will be available here on the platform, one of our platforms anyway. I'm going to cut that up and stuff like that, but
not a lot going on in BC in the wintertime, is there, buddy?
It started out as a stupid radio bit I did in Fort McMurray, and everyone just kind of loves it. Actually, I was on last night. What's that podcast? The Ball Hawks podcast. They're on the Dean Blundell Network as well. And they come up, and I was like, oh, beans. Yeah, beans in the microwave. And they go, wait a minute. Because they're from Kelowna. And we had Brad Karp on last month from K96.3. I do beans with them in the lead up, right? Like until the final day comes along. And they were like, holy crap, that's Glassy right there in the flesh. And I was like, how you doing? Yeah. So 7 years this year. And I think we're going to take the microwave and put it into an actual burning fire with the microwave on this year. That's one of the recommendations I've got.
Sounds really safe and something that you would do.
Glassy. It's 28-3 now. Oh, 28-0. Oh,
28-0. Wow. 9:46 left. Third quarter. Not looking good for Arizona at this point at all.
What do you want to go with next? You want to go with the sheep video? You want to go with a little kickboxing?
Let's go with the sheep video. A nice little feel-good video. This was when I get to, I hadn't for the last 5 days because I was locked down here in the basement, but I love to watch the news in the morning with my mom. And we both have our coffee and shoot the shit, and we watch the news. And they have this little segment called Feel Good. And this was pretty awesome. I guess the guy wasn't able, this is in Australia, I believe, and he wasn't able to go to his wife's own funeral because of their very strict COVID rules. And so he wanted to make sure that his wife up in heaven knew how much he loved her. Roll it.
This is really cool.
It is.
Due to COVID restrictions. So guess what he did? He laid out grain for his sheep in the shape of a heart in order that she could see it through the clouds.
Oh my God.
Look at it coming together.
That is lovely. That is so touching.
That's pretty badass, dude.
That's cool.
He put really grain in the shape of heart. Motherfucker's got a lot of sheep, by the way. Did you notice that?
Yeah, he does. Stay away from the Bondzee. Stay away from
how the hell? That's a sheep fucker's paradise right there. It is.
You said it.
How do you keep track of so many goddamn sheep? Anyways, it was awesome to see them all race as to get higher and higher to the grain once they realized they weren't getting in on the lower part. But yeah, such an awesome video for sure. What do we got next?
We got the let's kick this one up.
There's always one ass hat in every group, isn't there?
Oh, I love that.
That's pretty awesome. Play it one more time. It's pretty funny.
Okay, 1 sec here. There we go. Let's load it up on this side this time. Oh,
there you go. Everybody's got a pretty sick move here, guys. It's pretty impressive. Boom. Nice double spin flying kick. And then that one, and then guy's out cold too. That's the best part. Timber.
God. I don't know where you find some of this shit.
I don't either. Just
I don't either.
Trolling, bored. I don't know. What else we got? We got any more videos left?
Yeah, we got a couple soccer. We got one soccer here.
Oh, this is pretty fun. This is a great prank.
Take your drums. Hey, come on, you lazy wake up. Hey, come on, Flanders. Hey, come on, you lazy wake up. Hey, come on, take your drums. Hey, come on, you lazy wake up. Hey,
play it from the beginning again. Here we go.
Well,
yeah, play it from the beginning. So lest anybody think he's magic, he's got the soccer ball in the string.
Hey, come on, take your drums. Hey, come
what do you
on,
think?
you
Come
lazy
on.
wake up. Hey, come on, take your drums. Hey, come on, you lazy wake up. Hey, come on, Flanders. Hey, come on, you lazy wake up. Hey, come on, take your drums. Hey, come on, you lazy
Buddy
wake
hit
up.
that dirt
Hey, come on.
hard. That's a great prank. Annoying music, but that was a great prank. All right, roll the next one. What do we got?
Let's you want to talk hockey for a minute?
Oh, this is fantastic. One of my buddies sent me this the other day. What do these two have in common? Both are sitting at the bottom of the Atlantic. It's so true. And Montreal lost again today, by the way. I'd just like to point that out. It was a holiday down in the States today. There was a lot of early games. So Montreal, another one down. And now no more Carey Price for the rest of the season. Don't know if you caught that today.
Oh, yes. He's out with new leg injury. From his.
I think he's out with, I just don't want to play for the Canadians this year.
I wouldn't doubt it either, but they're going through a full rebuild. There's talk about a full rebuild coming out of Montreal, and it's just like, well, it's long overdue for one, but
yeah.
Well,
speaking of hockey and stuff,
we got
there's
a lot of hockey.
Amazing fights this past weekend.
Which one is this? I was going to go with the goal first off.
All right,
or
let's do that.
This is your balloon one.
Oh, this is fantastic! Check this out. How this balloon does.
Not pop.
But then it goes.
Secret tunnel.
We'll play it again.
Secret tunnel. Through the mountain.
How does it not pop?
But then it goes.
Secret tunnel.
It's actually really cool.
That is super cool.
Through the mountain.
Turns into like a big green blob. It's pretty sick.
No, Tamara, he's not out with a coke injury. It's a knee. I wouldn't want to go back to the Montreal Canadiens either, but
no.
Let's go with this. This is a beautiful goal.
It's impressive.
Tap, 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 tap.
Nothing like pulling that move off in a beer league hockey game. Had the little hacky sack kick in there for final effect.
That was good.
Pretty sick. And then we got these two fights. Now they're not much fights, but boy, oh boy, there's no worse way to lose fights, is there, Glassy?
Actually, yep. No better way to lose fight, or worse way to lose.
Worse
fight.
way.
One punches. So this is this past weekend. It's in the WHL, Western Hockey League. It's a you'll get to see it.
In the slot, who had over 50 last year, he's not going to make too many mistakes.
This is kind of brutal.
This season, of course, missed a bunch of time. World Junior team scored that massive goal for Canada in the final.
It's funny, the gloves come off like so far away from where the fight started.
Well, 4-0 Swift. We got a scrap here, and a long lead up to this one. Colton Keller leans in with Nagel. Keller! Oh my! Oh my! Nagel went down in a heap.
Back that up.
Scrap here
again.
And a long lead up to this one. Colton Keller leans in with Nagel. Keller! Oh my!
Did he ever catch him with that right?
Oh my!
Wow.
Nagel went down in a heap.
Did he ever?
Keller just landed the big left hook. And out comes Butter here to tend to Nagel.
This next one is even worse, dude. Like, holy shit.
Wow. This is probably the find of the weekend right here.
First goal for Utah, hand point not come across to make that.
This is in the ECHL.
Oh.
Okay, one more time here. Right center ice.
Boom. It let it roll. I think it shows a closer version.
Ding, ding, ding.
That was
Ding,
unreal,
ding,
man.
ding.
That guy hit the ice so hard. No, I guess there's not a closer view.
No.
Oh, good Lord.
He is down. Like, look at him waving. Get here, get here.
You hate to see it, but fuck me. Tough go for that guy. He's going to have a headache.
That's how it goes, man. That's how she goes.
Yeah. What else we got before we get out of here?
We have, I think that's pretty much it.
What do we got for some pictures? Do we? This is
we
where
have-
I'm heading, motherfucker. That's San Juan Sewer. Absolutely
hate
love
you.
that place to pieces. Can't wait to get there. Oh, I want to show you this. My son's new album just dropped last week. It's called Welcome to Hollywood. Go check it out. It's Ty Bond, TIEBOND, for those not watching on YouTube or our Twitter feed. Great album. Kid's working really hard, living in LA, grinding it out. Please go support him. You can find it on Spotify. It's free, folks. Apple Music as well. Welcome to Hollywood by Ty Bond. I'm so proud of him. He's a good kid. What else before we get out of here? I think that's it. That's all right.
This is actually pretty good.
Yeah, this is sorry. Go ahead and put that back up.
Oh.
Put yours up.
There you go.
So the Chiefs fans, the guy who running the board has got a great sense of humor. He's like, Chiefs fans, we are sorry to report, but due to your support in the Chiefs continually finding the end zone, we have run out of touchdown fireworks. And then he even tells you where to go complain. Go direct all of your complaints to your nearest fans first booth. I love it. Sorry our team's so good and kicked the other team's ass, but we ran out of fireworks. So there. Awesome.
What do you got going on here?
Oh, dude, come on. That's Megan Fox, and she just got engaged to Machine Gun Kelly. Now, I know this is not really my...
He looked like he was in a fucking Foot Locker when he was fucking proposing to her. Like you found the shoe. Oh, cool. It's a size 12.
Hey, listen, you can't dirt on the guy because he's got that and you don't, and nor do I.
Nope.
And now he's putting a ring on it, dude. Like, look at that. Anyways.
Let's hope this is not part of her 10-year challenge.
That's one of the greatest 10-year challenges I've ever seen. I got such a chuckle out of that. And then what was the other one? We had the bear. This is awesome too. You got that one?
The bear? No, I don't have a bear.
I do. Right
here. There you go.
10-year challenge.
That's
Teddy with blanket.
I think that's Gwen's teddy bear on the right-hand side there.
Isn't that fleece? Isn't that from one of them commercials? The bear on the left. Yeah, with the fleecing. I think it is. Awesome. All right. Well, that's it, folks.
Oh, did you catch this? November 28th, Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, $61.5 million fight. They're going for it.
That's unbelievable.
November 28th.
Would you fight Tyson for $61 million?
God, I guess I'd let him kick my ass for $61 million. I don't know how it'd be.
Not going to be much of a fight, is it, Glassy?
No.
I don't even know. He could kill us with one punch. Anyways, Problem Child is only going to get richer, and I guess Tyson is too.
I thought of you today. I thought of you today for the ladies in your life too, Greg. You might be interested in this one. They're camel toe knickers.
Wow.
People are actually buying it.
Can you explain to me why one would want to purchase camel toe knickers?
I have no idea for the life of me, but it seems like something that you probably like to buy for your lady, just because maybe you like to see the toe on the.
I'd rather see it au naturel and not a fucking fake panties. Like,
should we show the sheep video again? Do you want to see the sheep video again?
Well, I don't want you getting too excited. You can save it for your masturbation material after the show.
I'm good. Before we go, let's since I think we're all wrapped up here now.
Yeah, I think that's it.
What'd you got with Ty? What'd you got with Ty? There you go.
Oh, yeah, that's his year in review, 2021, 13,937 streams. Pretty cool.
Nice job.
Almost 7,000 listeners, 391 hours played, 88 countries, which I found interesting. So that's pretty cool. Keep grinding, kid, and make sure you go follow him on Instagram, Twitter, and all that. Thank you very much for your support. Check 100%. Out the new album, Welcome to Hollywood. All right.
100%. And before we go, two things. Let's talk about your tweet last night. Blaze Pizza should sponsor the podcast.
They should. And they answered me back on a couple of tweets because we did. You, me, and Lindley had it out last night, and some others joined in too about this whole pizza stuff. I really have a hard time with spinach and anything green on pizza. It just doesn't
No
belong.
way.
No, it's gross.
No way.
Like, yeah,
Spinach
way.
belongs on.
No, it doesn't, dude.
No.
I've never once in my life had spinach on pizza, and there's a reason, because it's crap. Like, why would anybody put spinach on a perfectly good pizza?
You know what's crap is your damn Doritos. That's what's crap.
No, dude.
Yes.
See, that's thinking outside the box and being creative, and putting a spicy Dorito. It's like it's just adding a nice little spicy crunch to it, if you will. Sorry that I can think out the box.
Where's your cardboard pizza
Spinach.
here?
Who the fuck put spinach on pizza?
Spinach,
So
spinach
gross.
goes on everything.
Arugula on pizza? No, it's green. No, nothing green should be on pizza. Nothing.
I digress with
green
the,
olives.
There's
Green
your
olives,
cardboard.
I'll take. Yeah, but it's not cardboard. It's actually pretty good pizza. Some of those frozen pizzas you get now are better than some of the shitty pizzas that I have ordered at pizza joints along my way in the United States, and even here in Canada too. So there.
Tamara's right. Spinach, it belongs on pizza.
Negative.
100%.
Big
100%.
fat negative.
And you're out to lunch.
No, I'm not in the wrong on that. So many people who would agree with me. There's a few of you weirdos that want spinach on pizza, but other than that, you're few and far between, I'd have to say.
I digress.
Anyways, Blaze Pizza, if you're listening and watching, I threw a shout out to them. They did like that. I liked their pizza, but they didn't respond to my pleas for money.
So please pay us money.
Come on at Blaze Pizza. I'll pump your tires even more. It's great pizza. And they put maple syrup on their pizza, so that's winning right there for me.
Yes, 100%. See, Gwen's got it right here. Spinach belongs with everything.
No, it belongs in a salad bowl with some other vegetables and, some nice salad dressing. But it doesn't need to be cooked on top of a pizza. It's just foul. It's like all soggy and just dangly and stuff. No, just stop it already. The only thing that should be dangling on a pizza is the cheese when it's melted and all gooey. That's it.
There's not even enough cheese on a cardboard pizza.
There is I put extra on it, okay?
Oh, okay. Well, at least you doctor it up. But Wade's coming in with
chips.
the paddle. Wade's coming in with the paddles on that one. Frozen pizza in an air fryer. Yeah, about it. 100%.
Jalapenos. Okay, they are green and they do belong on a pizza. I will give high explosive that one for sure. And green olives, I'm a big fan of on pizza. Pepperoni green olives. Pow! Great toppings.
Nah, you lost me right there.
That's it. I'm done arguing with you. I'm right. You're not. Folks.
Talk about Wade.
Oh, yeah. Go
to GoFundMe.
Yeah, GoFundMe, those cancel batter continues.
Help.
That thing just doesn't disappear, folks. So please don't forget about this wonderful family. There's the information right there at the bottom of the screen. Please go donate, whether it's $5, $50, $100. Any little bit helps, especially in these tough times they're going through. Cancer sucks, and cancer can fuck right off.
And we love you, though. So if
we
you're
do.
there, Wade, know that we're with you using the platform. So
we kind of love you too, Wade. Don't worry.
Nah, we tolerate you. That's all right. We keep it.
That's right. All right, bud. Thanks for another great show. Kicking ass. Oh, and I do want to thank you and the boys, Mr. Lindley and Lachlan Cross, for taking over the show last Wednesday. That was really nice of you guys. I got a lot of positive feedback on you guys doing that show, so I really appreciate you taking the reins and letting everybody know that I died.
You died, yeah, and now you have erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, apparently I do now, but I really don't, lady, so don't worry. The fella still works really good.
And this list, ladies and gentlemen, that circle right to the beginning, this is where it all started.
Face watching a fucking trailer.
Yeah.
Okay, favorite jackass moment out of the trailer.
COVID.
Yep, that's where it all began. COVID right there. All right, folks, that's another Tripping with Bondzee on YouTube and the Dean Blundell Network. Hit me up, follow me on all the social media. You know it, you love it. It's at Bondzee Live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that shit. Listen, a huge thanks to our boy Brenton on Tour, the Brenton on Tour podcast. Also, the Kids on the Escalator podcast. Check them all out. Check out his social media. He was a great guest and loved hearing his stories. So huge thanks to him for joining us. Don't forget, we've got Pixie, the stripper extraordinaire, coming up on Wednesday's show. That should be a lot of fun. And she's not hard to look at too, so that should be definitely. She's got the podcast called At Next on Stage 1. She will join us Wednesday, followed by Friday. We got a great band out of Missouri coming up called Really Bad People. I'm sure they're really awesome people. From what I've heard, their music is fantastic, and looking forward to having those fellas on the show on Friday.
There you go.
That's it. That's all. Enjoy the rest of your week, folks. We'll see you Wednesday. The show is brought to you by Positive Mike's Brewing, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. If you're there, go get some and try the beers. They are absolutely fantastic. You will not be disappointed. Positive Mike knows what he's doing when it comes to brewing the beers. That's for sure. Make sure you order yourself a Bondzee Scheme t-shirt. Why wouldn't you? It's a great beer. It's a great name. And the beer is sweet and spicy, just like me. Okay. Also, the show is brought to you by Shakespeare's Fine Dining, Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. You will never, ever have better food and service in your life. Sadly, the service is on hold, but you can still get curbside dining, folks. Order something real nice for your lovely lady coming up Wednesday to Saturday, 4 till 8 p.m. They're open. Give them a call or check them out on www.shakespeares.ca. All right, that's it. That's all. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you Wednesday. Adios. Bye.